The places where we live and learn, work and play have a significant impact on our well-being and our ability to be remarkable. How we approach the design of our city affects what we do, how we do it, and how we feel. At the same time, cities must creatively adapt to meet the evolving needs of modern life. Today, Zhihang and myself will share our planning and the design thinking for the historic Old Town area in Guangzhou, China. I would first like to thank Mayor Lin, Ms. Sun, and the people of Guangzhou for providing us the opportunity for many years of great collaboration in their city, and also to ULI for creating this important dialogue about design and ways to improve the health and well-being of our built environment. These discussions allow us to share ideas and shed light on innovative solutions to refresh, repurpose, and restart parts of our urban centers. For a glimpse of the future, we started by looking to the past. This was the opportunity and the challenge facing Guangzhou. The Old Town area boasts an amazing riverfront, arcade streets that shade pavements and offer a dynamic mix of old and new. And like all great cities, the Old Town area is defined by the movement of people. These linked spaces vary in scale and experience, providing insight to better understanding the underlying framework of spaces that weave throughout and define the city. And through the course of these walks and conversations, we began to define the principles of place as related to history and heritage, cultural resources, unique architectural open space and spatial qualities, and the uniqueness and character often found deep within each neighborhood. This thinking continued to guide our research by a careful mapping of these layers of the city, trying to uncover the essence of the real Guangzhou. These hyper-local heat maps helped us to identify the gaps, to see the relationships, and unlock new ways of thinking that would inform and inspire our ideas. This came with clear purpose and intention, a vision to establish principles for preservation, rehabilitation, and reinvestment in Guangzhou's historic Old Town area. A blueprint like one for the Guangzhou Old Town is much more than just buildings. It's deeply rooted to Guangfu and the cultural identity of the area. It's all about the connections, past, present, and future, by understanding that the Old Town is a part of everything and critical to the vibrancy and energy of the entire region. We also researched the history and evolution of Guangzhou over time, incrementally expanding east along the river. And with that, the Old Town saw many contemporary challenges in terms of economic mobility and aging in place, traffic, difficulty in connecting points of interest, and lack of cultural industries and programming. But perhaps most challenging was getting people to stay in the area. And as Guangzhou continued to grow, the Old Town was seeing a decrease in overall population. Residents, families, and workers were being attracted to newer developments with modern amenities appearing in other parts of the city. And the city planners were asking us, what type of investments will attract people back? So we asked. We created a process to find a deeper understanding of the real limitations for the area, but to also hear a range of perspectives that highlighted the many cultural and personal narratives of this place. We work collectively with the community to develop the goals, aspirations, and principles for the future of the Old Town area. And as Ms. Sun would often remind us all, old city, new dynamic, old street, new activities. Using a series of urban priorities, we created an approach that holistically preserves the character of the Old Town while simultaneously creating a sustainable, modern city able to accommodate growth and attract further investment. And this was achieved in 3 simple stages. Near-term demonstration projects that focused on micro-regeneration and wayfinding. A middle term of projects, more around preservation, adaptive reuse, and infill new uses and new buildings, including our continued collaboration with Ben Wood and his team. And third, in terms of longer-term ideas, neighborhood-based Old Town strategies, integrating key projects, prioritizing programming and elements to building place, and defining something for everyone. Collectively, these strategies build upon the historic resources as a key part for a sustainable future that is distinctive, livable, and walkable, a framework of place.
So in this framework plan, we look at 6 elements. I will now walk you through some of the key principles and the ideas behind. The first plan element is heritage. We look beyond the buildings, take account of public space, the city fabric, and the neighborhood characters. And as all this come together, we find that we should emphasize on people's activities and rebuild a smaller scale urban space to build a walkable old town. The Guangzhou Old Town has about 20 square kilometers, about 5 kilometers west to the current Guangzhou CBD. It's framed by the Pearl River on the south side. The urban fabric of the old town is very diverse and organic, and the ancient city structure still exists. In the past 20 to 30 years, it pops out many large buildings randomly, which has big impact to the traditional character of the old town, the scales, the historic fabric, and the community space. There are so many historical sites and buildings that are spread out in the entire Old Town area. Conditions are various, and many of them are not that accessible. The values of these places were not recognized. Through serious site investigations, we find that the challenge of this framework plan is, how can we create a plan that can add value to the historical sites and buildings? We were impressed by the very finer grade alleys in the Old Town area. These alleys were built in very human scales and organically embedded in the fabric. However, many are disconnected from neighborhoods to neighborhoods, and many of historical sites or buildings are hidden deeply in the neighborhoods. By carefully looking at the site, we decided to prioritize the walking experience and stitch the broken pieces together and form a hyper-walkable network. We also look at the major street for better streetscape to enhance the historical city structure, links the district to district. When the base is reestablished, we then create a continuous walking trails that links the 3 districts together, from the North Mountain Park to South Waterfront area and to the West Xiguan area, connecting the popular cultural attractions, parks, retail streets, and the museums together. We call this Guangzhou Historic Cultural Trail. The ideas of improving the streetscape is to transfer the walking system into a network of connecting public space, so we can improve the environment of the historical town and also increase the property values. The alleys connecting the neighborhoods that expanded activity from the major street to the neighborhoods, that unfolded the opportunities for adapting new uses for historical buildings and improve public space. Streets are upgraded to serve pedestrians. The guidelines including expanding the sidewalk, adding street furniture, smart amenities, and incorporating the new cultural trail design. We designed a signage that unified the wayfinding system. It's provided a very simple solution where creating an identical element to Old Town in the short term. The second element is neighborhoods. The neighborhoods in the Old Town are distinct and diverse. However, some of the dilapidated buildings and dense space are not suitable for new urban lifestyle. It leads to the loss of populations, especially young generations. There are needs to renovate some area to bring back the vitality of the neighborhoods. Our approach focuses on incremental redevelopment strategy to maintain the original neighborhood characters. We also recommended to refine the community administrative boundaries to form 5 minutes walking distance scale neighborhoods. 3 key neighborhood principles are defined. First, ensure the walkability. Second, improve quality of public space. Third, allocate amenity within 5 minutes walking distance in the neighborhood. So the introduction of new public space sort of simultaneously enhance the value of the historic building renovation, so to bring more opportunity for adapted uses. Allow some of the buildings to be reconstructed in an ordinary manner with respect to the community scale. Form mix of new and old buildings that can stimulate growth of the community. Guangzhou has a long history of commerce and trade. However, the traditional business face big challenge as the e-commerce comes in. The third element we focus on is the regeneration of the business. So the traditional business in Guangzhou grew in the linear arcade buildings, which is unique to the city. But now, many of them are unoccupied due to change of the business and the limits of the space and the quality. Our framework reactivated Arcade Street by upgrading the buildings and adapting the new uses. We like to take the advantage of space and the scale, creating more shared public space and promote new uses in the buildings. We see the potential here could become a place that attracts young generation and also became a new incubators of new culture and business in the Old Town. We have created a series of guidelines for redesigning the traditional shop houses, bring natural lights in, increase ventilation, and create more flexible space to meet the need for new business. Our goal is to preserve the historical urban fabric, but encourage a new dynamic to stimulate regeneration energy. So new lifestyle needs could be provided, accommodated, while the identity of the places can be also appreciated. The old city was positioned in between the mountain and water. Water flowed through the city to the river. Today, there are still a few canals that exist and performing drainage function, but many of them are covered under the walkways. We propose to restore the water system, daylighten the historical canals, and incorporate the modern stormwater management system to reconnect the ecosystem. The East Haochong River was the east mouth of the old city. We reimagined this could become a place that can celebrate the natural part of the city, a place for people.
From the beginning, we were asked to help find the real Guangzhou and provide a comprehensive strategy to adapt the historic Old Town area through a systematic and coordinated roadmap. And at the heart of this were several design opportunities that would highlight the beauty, the cultural importance, and the human scale of this amazing place. We have seen the potential and positive impact this kind of thinking can have in our cities. It starts with a careful understanding of the unique qualities, the organization of spaces, and the relationships between buildings and nature. There are many examples of how cities are building a city future on a city past. We need to take new approaches in how we design and how we want to live in these reimagined spaces, where old buildings in the public realm are transformed into new places of exchange, places that are known globally and loved locally. Hopefully today's presentation has shared some ideas that can be adapted and applied to other cities, facing the increasing demands to improve livability and create environments that place human health and well-being as essential to our urban future. And in doing so, create a bespoke solution to every community that embodies the ambition and the aspiration of its residents. Old city, new dynamic. Old street, new activities.